All right, back for another beer review, and today is Wednesday, which of course means it's time for another Western New York Wednesday here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today comes from the Fifth Frame Brewing Company, and they're out of Rochester, New York, and this is their Fauxkanut. So they are calling this a coffee brown ale with coconut, although on their website and on Untappd, they are basically calling it an American brown ale that is brewed with coffee, coconut, and chocolate. They do not mention chocolate on the can, but I thought I would mention it because it does say it on their website. Comes in at 5.4% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in the time of review. This can is just under 2.5 months old. So yeah, Fifth Frame. I haven't reviewed anything from them on the channel in about 4 or 5 months. No really rhyme or reason to not picking up their beers lately. But when I do take a trip to the Rochester, New York area, I pretty much hit up Other Half. I stop at Mortalis, hit up a couple bottle shops. So I don't usually pop in Fifth Frame, at least lately. And I need to change that because they make some good beer. And I actually picked this up at the One Stop Brew Shop. It was one of the 2 bottle shops I hit up, and they had this. And I was like, you know what? Even though American brown ales aren't my favorite, it has coffee, coconut, and chocolate in it. Let's give it a go. So anyway, let's give this a crack. Pour it in the glass now, just under, oh God, it's going everywhere. Hopefully it doesn't spill. So yeah, that wasn't good. I'm not saying this is infected or overcarbed or anything, but yeah, that came rushing out of the glass, or out of the can. So luckily I saved it and it didn't go everywhere, but that would have sucked. That would have sucked big time. Anyway, as you can see, very carbonated. This has been in my fridge the entire time from when I picked it up. So let's hope this is not infected. Let's hope that this is okay. So as you can see, this pours out a really nice, man, it's like a chestnut color. It has this really murky, deep brown color, but it almost has like a fade to it, or like a turbidity to it. Has about a finger and a half of a really rocky tan colored head. As I said, super carbonated, as you guys saw, exploded out of the can. I'm gonna be curious to see how my face looks when I was like, oh shit, I need to grab that because I don't want it to go all over my tablecloth. Anyway, it looks like a brown ale. I'm actually quite surprised at how turbid that looks. Anyway, let's get a nose. Yeah, wow, a lot of nice roasted coffee. Even at almost 2.5 months old, this has a really nice coffee character. Slightly acidic, nice roast to it, almost like a berry note to the coffee. Now, one thing about Fifth Frame is they are not only a brewery, they also roast their own coffee. They're a coffee roaster, and they are using their own house roasted coffee in this beer, which I think you would expect from a coffee roaster and brewery. You'd probably use your own coffee in all of your coffee beers. Little bit of like a slight toasted coconut. There's definitely nice chocolate character here, like a sweeter milk chocolate. There's a nuttiness here too, almost like an almond kind of nutty. It just has like a generic nuttiness, but it smells to the sweeter side of things with that toasted coconut, with that chocolate, a little bit of caramel toffee undertones of the brown ale. Very soft, like earthy bitterness. Yeah, it smells pretty good. It actually smells relatively complex at 5.4%, and yeah, it smells like it should be good. I don't think it's infected, maybe just overcarbonated. The thing about Fifth Frame that I remember is I've had a couple beers from them that were overcarbonated. I've had a couple cans that were overfilled, and I've also had one beer that I reviewed from them that was pretty much flat. So carbonation issues, maybe they're not, very rampant, but from some of the beers I have, it's noticeable. Anyway, let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Definitely overcarbonated. You kind of expected that as I opened it. Yeah, but it's not infected. There's no off flavors in the taste. There's nothing like a sourness or a tartness or anything. So first off, body, a lower side of medium body, higher side of light body, 5.4%. You kind of expect that. And the mouthfeel, this is the first time I've ever used this tasting note, but Matt uses a lot, says carbonic acid, and this is kind of has that going on. This is there's so much carbonation and there's a decent acidity. It's not really, tart or anything. It's just there's so much carbonation in this one. It's kind of crazy. I think without that overly carbonated character to the beer, it would have a nice mouthfeel, but as is, super effervescent. I mean, if you've ever had soda pop, and I think most of you have. It just has carbonation kind of at that level. It's very spritzy on the tongue. And what that does is kind of wash away all the flavors. So it's hard to sit there and try to figure out what I'm tasting, because as soon as I'm finished with the sip, like everything's gone off the palate and almost entirely. But right up front, you do get the caramel toffee nuttiness from the brown ale. Passes through the palate, a little bit more of that sweeter chocolate. This is more of like a sweet dark chocolate now in the taste, as opposed to milk chocolate in the nose. Then there is a little bit of like what I would assume is a toasted coconut. I'm stretching, I'm reaching for it just because I know it's in here. It's there, but only because I know it's there, so I can kind of pick it up. If I was doing a blind, no. And the coffee is kind of omnipresent. Very nice roasted coffee character. Yeah, really nice. Now, you might hear people cutting the grass, and that's because people are cutting the grass. I do apologize. It is nice out now, and people are cutting the grass, so lawnmowers all over the place, all around me. All around me. Okay, I'm not going to sing it. Not going to sing it. Anyway, yeah, this is pretty solid. For me, though, the carbonation, it's kind of killing me. As you can see, I'm putting this back, but man, I will say this: a nice base brown ale. I do get the coffee, like it says, omnipresent, a nice roastiness to it, slightly acidic, but it's kind of hard to tell with that carbonic acid. I don't really use that as taste note. I actually watched a couple of reviews from Matt, and I kind of got what he was saying with the carbonic acid. It was more in a sour, but I'm kind of getting that on the palate here. But for the most part, it's just really carbonated, nice brown ale. The coffee's there, the chocolate there, coconut kind of there. For the most part, though, this is just... the carbonation just kind of ruined it for me. So I'll say this: if the carbonation wasn't there and just overly carbonated and just like punching me in the face, this would probably be a straight on 4 out of 5. Very well done beer. I think I really like the fact that you can taste the base beer. I'm getting most of the adjuncts. Yeah, it's well rounded, it's cohesive, it's nice. But because of that carbonation, I'm gonna knock it down a 1/4 point. I'm gonna go low 3.75 out of 5 for Fauxkanut from Fifth Frames. I'm gonna give it a 3.7 out of 5. Carbonation just kind of, knocking it down for me. It's not really, messing with me too much as far as like the drinkability goes, because you can see I'm drinking it. It just there's no lingering flavors, and it kind of just washes away on the palate instantly. So I'm left with almost like a tasteless beer in some respects. If the finish on this one a little bit sweeter, there's a touch of dryness, but it does finish a little bit to the sweet side of things. So if you'd like sweeter brown ales, and you kind of expect that from all those ingredients, I would think. So yeah, it's a good beer. I just wish the carbonation wasn't as high as it is. So if you've had this one before and you've had it maybe fresher, was it as carbonated as it is now? Because maybe, it's been sitting, and, it gets to the point where, I don't want to say it re-fermented, but, it got to the point where maybe it did a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, low 3.75 out of 5, 3.7 exactly out of 5 for Fauxkanut from Fifth Frame. Yeah, pretty solid beer. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another Western New York Wednesday. Be on the lookout next week for another installment. And until then, cheers.